Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. John Owen talks about sports and movies. Thank you for checking out today's video. I always appreciate the support. Let's get into it. So, I have just gotten out of a viewing of Don't Worry, Darling, directed by Olivia Wilde, featuring Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine, Gemma Chan, um, Olivia Wilde as a character in the movie. Um, and let me tell you guys, this movie is a beyond trippy experience to the max, and I'm going to expand on that later in the video. But make sure you guys leave your thoughts down in the comments below. What did you guys think about this movie if you've seen it? um there's so much to talk about in this movie that I probably won't get to all of it, so if you guys want to bring up something that I didn't, of course, feel free to, and make sure you also like and subscribe so you never miss out on any of the fun. I'm issuing a spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, so if you want to go watch it and then come back, feel free to. But we're going to jump into spoilers in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So first off, I want to apologize. My MacBook we're having a lot of technical difficulties, so I apologize for the camera quality being a little granular almost, and maybe my hand motions being behind and stuff like that. But with that out of the way, um, my brain still hurts. I feel like physically ill from watching this movie. Definitely not the type of movie that I typically consume. Definitely like a Jordan Peele A24 type beat. Um, you know, a kind of a Get Out copycat, maybe, if you will. But Get Out's a great movie to try to emulate because that movie's fantastic and it's trippy and it gets you thinking and stuff like that. And this movie accomplishes all of those things as well. I mean, let me get to the one major criticism I have of it. Harry Styles is simply terrible. Maybe he can do some other acting stuff and improve his chops, but top to bottom, that man cannot act. Definitely not when it actually matters. There were several times I audibly laughed 3 times whenever he was trying to portray a very serious moment in the movie. I just could not take him seriously. And he just is not very good at all in this movie, especially as like the second lead, the leading man in this movie. He just is really bad, just top to bottom. I actually hated his performance. He should have never been in the movie. He caused all this drama with it. Just top to bottom, it should have been someone else. I don't really have someone else in mind. It literally could have been anyone who's an actual professional actor. That's not Harry Styles. I think Harry Styles is a talented artist, a musician, but the man cannot act at all. But opposite of that, Florence Pugh gave just this wonderful, beautiful, just all-star performance. She just was amazing. I don't know how else to put it other than the fact that she portrayed the anxiety and the paranoid aspect and the factor, just that pure confusion of what's going on. She was able to portray that so well, along with at the beginning of the movie when she's all in on the housewife bit. She just, her range is incredible, and she shows that in almost everything she's in. But in this movie, she really gets to flex her acting chops just because of just all the different emotions she gets to portray, from fear to anxiety to paranoia. I can't talk today. Being paranoid and just being happy and crying and yelling, and just across the spectrum, she is just able to deliver just this great performance, and she carries the movie. She is the single driving force that makes this movie work. She just is the spearhead, the conductor, whatever you want to say. She single-handedly carries this movie in a lot of aspects, especially in the first half where it's more her and Harry Styles, and she's got to act across this just not good performance, just straight up just a not good performance, and she just the ability to continue to deliver that type of performance, regardless of everything that's going around you, is just a testament of how just wonderfully talented she is. And she's just, I can't say enough good things about her. Um, but I think everyone else in the movie besides Harry gave a good performance as well. Chris Pine was, as in most of his roles, is really kind of dry, and kind of monotone, but he's so chilling, especially whenever him and Florence get to kind of uh, combat each other a little bit. Like the transition from the scene where she's cutting the lemons when they have the dinner party, um, and him admitting that she's on to him and that he wants her to challenge her, or he wants her to challenge him, into the dinner table whenever Florence starts like, oh, like you guys honeymooned at X, Y, and Z, or you guys met in X, Y, and Z manner, and just uh, just that intensity whenever Chris Pine is allowed to really, really act and really kind of like get chilling in this movie, he does an absolutely fantastic job. Another standout performance I would have to say is Olivia Wilde. On top of just her directional style, um, she does a great job as Bunny. And it was terrible. It was so sad whenever she was like, "I chose this life because I don't lose my kids here." That's bone crushing, because we've been following her, and it was just like the perfect. It was the right timing, the right amount of build up, everything like that. Um, she nailed it. I really do think Olivia Wilde was good in this movie, and then everyone else was just good. They were just solid. Um, they gave out actual acting performances, unlike Mr. Styles. Plot and kind of trippiness to this movie, because that's what I think really is gonna be a big talking point. Um, Man, this movie is, you leave with so many questions, and it's fascinating listening to the people that I went and watched it with, my roommates, and then one of my other friends. Just how we interpreted everything was so interesting. I really think this first half of this movie could be perceived as boring. And it's definitely the worst half of the movie because once again, Harry gets more to do in the first half, so he's kind of bringing it down a little bit. But the first half could be perceived as slow, but I think it's building, and I think it sets up a lot of things that whenever what's actually revealed is going on, there's so many good callbacks and foreshadowing and everything like that. It's just a perfect, really good circle. It's a perfect loop. It all connects. Circles are a big um, symbolism tool in this movie, so circles seem appropriate. But the second half of the movie starts whenever they go to that really big party that Frank is hosting, and Alice, who is Florence's character, is like, I want to go home. I want to go home. That's when Jack gets promoted, and she goes into the bathroom, and Bunny doesn't believe her at that point in time. And then from there forward, the movie just kick drives into a gear that I wasn't expecting it to have after the first half of the movie. With the full context of the movie, the first half makes sense, but until you get to that point, I really do think it probably was a little boring. A little, I was like, this is okay, but then you get down to the second half, whenever she, um, like, like I mentioned earlier, the dinner party sequence, whenever it's revealed that Alice's real life was she was a brain surgeon, and Jack essentially kidnapped her and took her into this world, and that it's all a simulation, and the headquarters is the portal that the men go in and out of, and it's basically just this huge power trip male fantasy of a more conservative, more old-fashioned time past. um and I've seen some very negative reviews of this movie, but they've been really misogynistic based. So just because I feel like a lot of you know um, like critics and stuff like that, they typically don't react well to movies where men are attacked or are the bad guy or stuff like that. You look at other movies like Captain Marvel, She-Hulk is under this scrutiny constantly. And just stuff like that. So I really do think that this movie's not for everyone, from a just from like a the type of movie this is, the trippiness is really a lot. I can see where that's a turnoff for some people. Um, it's hard for me to evaluate this movie just like from a pure film standpoint because I haven't seen too many like movies like this. So I don't really know. Is this a good movie in the genre? Is it kind of an exemplary aspect, or does it exemplify the aspects of that genre and those tropes very well? And stuff like that. The only other movie I've seen kind of like this is Get Out and maybe Scream, but I don't think that really counts. But I think this movie, once it gets you hooked, it is absolutely fascinating, and it will just mess with your brain and make you think. And there's every single thing. There's something to catch in every single scene. There's so much detail. Um, there's a car chase scene, and I love a car chase scene. I'm a sucker for that. And I just think top to bottom, this movie really makes you think. You really, really have to pay attention. And some people, when they watch a movie, they just want to turn their brain off. But this movie will grab your brain and scramble it. It's like a smoothie in there. It's like just put it back in the blender, as Crossbones would say. Um, and so this movie really, really, really does it achieves the goal of any film, and that's to move you. That's to make you feel something. Now, granted, that thing is confusion and maybe paranoid, and make you paranoid about what's real, or NPC, or license simulation, stuff like that. But the movie really moves you, and so I do have to give it a lot of credit for that. And I honestly think that if you want to watch it to try to trip your brain out, go watch this. This movie's entertaining. I really do legitimately think that, and I think it's got some really great performances, especially by Florence. I mean, I could go on and on and on just about her in general. I really do think she's just an absolutely talented person, and she's absolutely beautiful. I mean, probably one of the most beautiful people, definitely one of the most beautiful people on the planet. But I mean, just everything in this movie makes you think. And I think that's what makes this film different. I've seen some people talk about how this film is kind of forgettable. I don't really see that. I don't really agree with that. I don't think I'll ever forget what it's like watching this movie for the first time. Just because it moved me, kind of in a atypical way of how movies typically move me, but I definitely felt moved. This movie made me feel something, and in that way, the film was great. So I would say overall, Florence, just kind of reiterate, this puts on a masterclass of a performance, and almost everyone else follows suit except Harry Styles. While maybe being perceived as a boring first half, the movie absolutely picks up in the second half and is a trippy experience beyond belief. Definitely worth the watch if you want a brain trip. I gave it a 8 out of 10. This movie is freaky, but I promise you, it's worth your watch. So thank you so much, guys, for watching the video. Make sure you guys check out the link content and leave a like, a comment, and subscribe so you never miss out on any of the fun. And you guys have a great day.